All right, everyone, welcome back to another video here on my channel. I know it's been a little bit, but we have a lot to cover today at Disneyland, the whole resort in general, at the hotels, as well as the theme parks. So let's go ahead and get started on some of these updates. I'm gonna head first over to Fantasyland and Toontown because we have some closures and some updates there that I felt like I wanted to hit first. So I say first stop, we'll go to Fantasyland. So Alice in Wonderland had a short closure along with Mr. Toad's Wild Ride and Peter Pan. Peter Pan still remains closed, but keep in mind Alice in Wonderland's going to be closing again in early July, just after the 4th of July weekend. It's open for now, and man, is it packed. But they're doing some sort of work on the building that's shared by all three of those attractions. And it's not really quite sure what's actually being done. No one's really reported on it. But it is going to be closing again on July 5th. So just keep that in mind. If you're coming to Disneyland, Alice in Wonderland will be closed. Now, whatever work's being done on the building that's shared by all those attractions can at least let Mr. Toad's Wild Ride remain open. So it did reopen just after June 15th. So you can still get to the ride just through these tunnels. Peter Pan remains closed through June 30th. So that's not open at this time. And then, like I mentioned earlier, Alice in Wonderland, again, closing on July 5th for a few weeks to kind of finish up whatever's going on. But they got the whole building under scaffolding, so maybe it's something on the roof, maybe something with the air conditioning as we're getting into the hotter months. Who knows? But let's go ahead and about face now and head over to Toontown to bring you the next updates. We talked a lot about some of the structural or ground issues they've been having over there on the podcast 5571. If you haven't been subscribing and listening to that, go ahead and subscribe to that on any podcast platform. But Toontown's been having some ground issues, so we're gonna go check that out because they're fixing the latest and last section that they need to fix in Toontown. So we're headed there next. Another thing I really haven't talked about yet is actually Disneyland lowered some of the prices for a lot of the days in June, bringing it down to that lowest tier ticket of $100. And man, are you really seeing the impact of that here? I think the reason why they did that is because, demand has been a little low, as well as a lot of closures are happening in Disneyland. So it's a lot less valuable, I guess you could say. But man, it is so crowded today. I have seen extended queues I've never seen for rides before. But let's head into Toontown now and showcase what's going on. So if you haven't listened to the podcast, Toontown's actually been having a little bit of a ground issue where the trees were starting to sink into the ground that were newly planted in these areas. And they weren't, structurally sound, causing a little bit of uneven ground around the tree and potentially causing a trip hazard. So this area I just showed you was completely covered in walls as they were making those repairs. And then this park right across the way, the Centennial Park, was actually having the same issues around the big tree that was planted there. The trees were beginning to settle in their new spaces, causing an uneven ground around the tree, which in turn becomes a trip hazard for guests. So they had to close off these areas and kind of reinforce the trees to fix that issue because the ground was sinking a little bit, leveling. And for those that know, Mickey's Toontown was going through a plethora of issues as it was being first, constructed because of all the rain they were having, all the rain delays. I'm sure that really saturated the ground and didn't help with the leveling issue. So there's also some trees over here that were just behind walls and have now just finished their work too. So at this point, it seems like all the construction that they needed to do to level out those trees has been completed. So no more issues over here at Mickey's Toontown. All right, so over here at Goofy's house in his backyard, there's actually a new little periscope kids can look through, and you can adjust it up and down. The view kind of points directly at the fountain over there, right here. Is essentially where it's looking at. And it just shows you the fountain kind of up close. It's kind of a cool little zoom in on it with a little bit of a blur effect around everything else around it. So, new little addition over here at Toontown. So that wraps up all the changes and updates here at Mickey's Toontown. All the structural works completed and all the different sections of the land. Rumor has it that they were going to be changing some of the grass out too, but that's not looking like it's being done anytime soon. So if it's being done, maybe a project in the future, but not at this time right now. There's no more walls left in Toontown. It's all reopened again and ready to go. So we've already looked at Fantasyland. We've gone to Toontown to see the updates there. I'm gonna head throughout the park so we can go over to New Orleans Square and check out the progress at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So I made a stop over here in New Orleans Square just as we're headed towards Critter Country, or as now I'm gonna call it, the Bayou Country. But some big news over here. Tiana's Palace restaurant actually has come out from behind most of the scaffolding on the front, and you can't really see it from this angle, but I'll go over to the left side so you can get a better view of what it looks like. So you can see on this side we have the whole front facade fully exposed now with the new brick and new yellow color scheme all on the front side. And let me go a little bit further too. And here's another look at the artwork here for Tiana's Palace, and you can see that new color scheme and brick front, and they're also building kind of the ship top part you see right here, right in this very moment right now. There's actually some guys up there hammering away on it, but it's looking really good. It's definitely a nice refresh to this building from when it used to be French Market, so we're probably not that far off from when this is opening. Finally made our way back over here to Critter Country, looking at the construction progress of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. We can see some big news over here today. The former iconic treetop of the old Splash Mountain attraction is just days away from coming down. They're gonna have to, of course, transform this whole top of the mountain into a southern salt dome. So it's coming down and it's being leveled out to a more softer hill. So that treetop that we normally see for Splash Mountain is gonna be coming down. And they're putting all the scaffolding. It's all over the whole attraction actually already. They are moving really fast on this. Here's another angle head on of the drop here. You can see just how much work's going to be done. Over at Walt Disney World, this treetop came down first really quickly. So they're probably getting as much of the exterior work as they can done right away because there's a lot to do still on the inside. So on the little pathway, kind of right where the drop is, they've got some walls up so you can't, kind of concealing what they're doing on the drop, but you can still see a lot of it over here. They've even covered completely the actual ride flume itself down here and around the river, and you can see scaffolding actually being constructed through the trees if you can. I'm not quite sure. Right here it's kind of up and down, as well as on the other side since the drop comes right through over here. So but the walls continue all the way over to Pooh Corner and even cut off part of Pooh Corner. So let's go ahead and check that out, and also check to see if the penny press is still there, because a lot of people were asking me that as well. So for now, the Briar Rabbit's Briar Patch is still open and still as the Briar Patch for the time being, but the walls do extend, like I mentioned, all the way to Pooh Corner. So let's keep walking down that general direction. Perfect timing, we just actually caught the Disneyland Railroad coming by. But here's another angle from the attraction's former entrance. Now, no word if Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to use the same entrance. It would make the most sense, but they could rework things to make the queue a little bit longer. But as you can see over here, the walls go all the way up to Pooh Corner. There's actually a gate that opens to let in some more larger vehicles overnight when they're doing some work, but it also, more importantly, keeps that pathway to the backstage area for big machinery that needs to come in to work on the ride open throughout all day times of the day. So they have kept the Splash Mountain penny press, but as of right now, I'm recording this video, it's actually out of order. I don't know if that means it's soon to be taken out, but for the time being, it's out of order, not working. And it's right next to the Winnie the Pooh one, which is working. So we'll keep an eye on this to see if it's still here next week. But for now, it's here, but it's out of order. So you can see also just another angle over here at Pooh Corner, just how it dead ends this space with all the construction walls for Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Most of the attraction's exterior queue, plus that photo gift shop at the exit of Splash Mountain, are all closed. And we haven't seen any major exterior work on any of the stuff over here, just the drop in the front side of the attraction. Over here in Adventureland, just outside the Adventureland treehouse, not much progress over here. It looks the same like it's looked for quite a while. Maybe some progress on the inside that we're not seeing, but it doesn't look any closer other than some new stuff that's being put in to opening at this point. From what I'm hearing, it's taking a little bit of time to redo the base of the tree. Not only the structural work, but the bottom. They're having to actually recreate the whole experience for guests who have disabilities, who need to be in a wheelchair and can't go up in the tree. They need to provide them an experience that's sort of like the one at Finding Nemo, where they can go into a room and watch the whole submarine voyage experience. So something similar to that will be coming to the Adventureland Treehouse, and it seems like they're working on that, as well as some of the structural work on the tree. But not really too much to report there. Of course, we'll keep looking at it, and hopefully Disney will share soon an opening date, because I feel like the construction for that is taking longer than almost anything these days. But I think that basically wraps up everything inside Disneyland. I'm gonna head over to Tomorrowland before we leave, just to see if there's anything in there, and if not, we'll head over to Disney California Adventure. Just wanted to make sure, but nothing new or noteworthy over here in Tomorrowland. So that wraps up Disneyland. Next up, I'm gonna head over to Disney California Adventure Park, and then after that, we'll head over to the hotels, check out all the latest at the Disneyland Hotel and the Pixar Place Hotel. So we're over here at Disney California Adventure Park, and I wanted to head first to the Hyperion to talk about some of the information we got for Rogers the Musical. So let's get started. So over here at the Hyperion Theater, I wanted to talk a little bit about Rogers the Musical. So we did find out some information from Disney that Rogers the Musical would be utilizing a virtual queue. So a morning virtual queue and an afternoon virtual queue that would grant you access to, the seating first. And it'd be, of course, the orchestra, the mezzanine and the balcony. So those would be for the different sections. Now, you won't have to do virtual queue. There'll still be standby, but standby is just going to be filling in everything that the virtual queue doesn't. So you might still want to participate in the virtual queue. It's totally free. It doesn't cost anything to do so. But there's going to be 2 different virtual queues, one in the morning for the first 2 shows, and then one in the afternoon for the second shows. So let's go ahead and head to Hollywoodland. I want to show you another way you can watch the Rogers the Musical that they talked about a little bit, but didn't explain too much. I wanted to maybe show you physically kind of where you're supposed to go and what it looks like to do that. So just past the Hyperion, over here in the Hollywood Studios section of Hollywoodland, is the Hollywood Lounge. And of course, this little food truck over here that's always been sponsored by Coca-Cola, at least in the latter years. Now, this is actually going to be where they sell the premium viewing for Rogers the Musical Hyperion Theater. It's going to be sold, I think it's $29 per person, and it's going to be sold every day exclusively at this location until they run out. Now, it's not something that you can book in advance. You have to do it here in person, from what we can tell from what Disney's released so far. So it's going to be done in person over at this location every day before the first showing. You can purchase your premium viewing experience, which is going to come with a souvenir popcorn bucket, a lanyard, of course your viewing access, and then the popcorn bucket has that red, white, and blue popcorn inside of it. So that's an option for you to watch it as well too. So you got 3 ways to watch it. You have standby, virtual queue, and of course that premium viewing. The premium viewing also grants everyone access to the viewing areas 30 minutes prior to show. So you can get those really good spots you want to get, whether that's in orchestra, mezzanine, or balcony. And you can get right up front in each section because you're going to have first pick. So then after that, of course, is going to be the virtual queues and the callback times you were given. And then after that, of course, standby. So 3 different ways to watch the show, a lot of different variety. I'm sure the premium viewing is going to sell out pretty quickly every single day. And for those that like to plan, unfortunately, you can't do it in advance, at least as of right now, you're gonna have to do it in person. So make sure that you have that Disney California Adventure start on days you want to watch the Rogers musical, if that's a high priority for you, so that you can book it on over there to that food truck in Hollywoodland area and buy that premium viewing before it runs out. So I've left Hollywoodland and I'm headed now into the Pacific Wharf area to get an updated look at some of the construction and new things that have popped up over here in the soon-to-be San Francisco Square. Right away, here's a first look at some of the new art that's popped up on the bathrooms over here by Lucky Fortune Cookery. And speaking of Lucky Fortune Cookery, its main sign is gone. It's actually being redone right now to have more of a cohesive look and theme to the Big Hero 6 theme that's coming in here. You can see they have a temporary sign hanging for right now, Lucky Fortune Cookery. And then some of the walls and construction areas have come down over here just around the Bodine Bread Factory or Pacific Wharf Cafe. You can see Salt and Sea Packing Company, Windcinch Clean Technology, a lot of placemaking. More importantly, Bodine Bakery Tour is still sticking around. That's right, we got an updated look from Disney at some of the things coming to San Francisco Square, including Rita's Turbine Blenders, which is the new name for Rita's Margarita stand over here. And then more importantly, Pacific Wharf Cafe is sticking around with the Bodine sponsorship. So Pacific Wharf Cafe is going to be called Aunt Cass's Cafe, who's the owner of the Lucky Cat Cafe that's in the movie. So maybe another location for her. But the signage for Pacific Wharf Cafe and everything has been removed on the front of the building. Actually, you can see over here, they've got a temporary sign hanging there right now as a banner. But it's going to change soon to Aunt Cass Cafe to fit in with the theme. I thought for sure they might call it Lucky Cat Cafe, but Aunt Cass Cafe is the new name. And then I'll show you over here where there's going to be the new cerveceria, as well as a upcoming little pop-up gift shop they're going to do. And here's a look at some of the construction progress over here at the cerveceria, right at the front, attached to Cocina Cucamonga. We're actually going to see this open pretty soon here, but the construction progress in the back over there is something new, at least since the last time I've been here. The Pacific Wharf Distribution Company, aka the beer truck, is gone, and they're constructing the outdoor meet and greet that's going to be set up there for Baymax. And then Disney also shared that Hiro is going to be meeting and greeting as well. So now over here at Cocina Cucamonga, the entire left side on the outdoor portion over here is going to be the Maker's Market. It's going to be like an outdoor toy shop just next to, of course, the meet and greet location. But this is going to be kind of themed towards like the battle robots that you saw in Big Hero 6, where they're kind of making up the legal ring of battling different robots and stuff like that. So it's kind of got that theme to it. So there's going to be a new toy shop here. And of course, Lucky Fortune Cookery and Aunt Cass's Cafe, plus the new Rita's Margarita location, are going to have all new drinks and food items to try. So that'll be revealed soon, Disney mentioned, in an update on their parks blog when they'll give us a look at some of the new items coming. But for right now, that's what they shared with us. So let's head on out to the rest of Disney California Adventure Park and see what else is new. Speaking of exterior work on the outside of San Francisco, just as we're headed out, they've updated some new things over here, including a sports advertisement. And then, of course, the last time too, we saw a little bit of, but now more of, the San Francisco Institute of Technology advertisement. So lots of new things out here, really helping to place make the whole space as San Francisco Square instead of Pacific Wharf. And they're doing a really good job of kind of giving it that aged look that it's always been here. It's been, you know, kind of exposed to the elements of being right next to the ocean. So it's very well in theme. And as things continue to come together, it's going to look better and better. I actually really like the redo of this whole space a lot more than I thought I would, because they're just doing such a good job of really implementing storyline into an area that was kind of void of it, to be honest. Now, as I head to the Grizzly Peak area, the whole San Francisco Street buildings are actually under facade now. Not sure what the work's going on over here if they're sort of being brought in to match the theme of San Francisco, or if it's just a refresh on the paint job of the San Francisco street buildings. But a little bit of an unknown construction project we didn't really know about. But I'm headed through the Grizzly Peak Recreation Area and into Soarin', so we can talk about that for a little bit. So I wanted to come over here to Soarin' Around the World to talk about its closure. So just like Alice in Wonderland, it's closing on July 5th, and it's going to be closed through the 14th. Just a small little closure. Probably need a little bit of a refurbishment over here. Check all the moving components inside, maybe the projectors. But again, Soarin's going to be closed from July 5th to 14th. So if you've got a summer trip planned, keep that in mind. It's going to be closing too alongside Alice in Wonderland for that little period, as well as the Disneyland monorail. But I think that basically wraps up all the updates here in California Adventure. I've walked the park a few, haven't really seen that many changes. I'm going to take this opportunity to head on over to Disney's Grand Californian Hotel and then the Pixar Place Hotel, finally ending it over at the Disneyland Hotel. So let's get in those steps. So we made our way outside of Disney California Adventure Park, and we're headed now over here to the Pixar Place Hotel, or as it is right now, Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel. So we're gonna head in through the main entrance and the lobby, and then hopefully we'll get to check out some of the pool construction as well. And actually, before we head across the street, you can actually see right here the construction progress of what we now know is the Great Maple location. So the former PCH Grill is now going to be the Great Maple, so we can head in and see if you can see anything about that on the inside from the lobby. Rounding the corner here, heading into the Valet Drive of Pixar Place Hotel, you can see they haven't put in the new sign yet, so it's still sectioned off there. But it's looking really good for the valet entrance. It's a lot better than it used to be as Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel. Let's head into the lobby and see just how much work's been done there. So no big Pixar lamp here just yet. They do have some of the stained glass up already. You can see little hidden Pixar characters actually in the ground here too. There's Eve. Some seating here. Here's another hidden character, Frozone, in the ground over here. But here's a look at where the PCH Grill entrance normally would be. So we just see the artwork for the Great Maple, but no visible construction, at least from the inside over here. And here's a look at the upcoming kind of cafe or quick service coffee location just off the lobby. Not fully set up just yet, but they do have these really cool art panels on the wall, as well as some fun little hidden drawings in between them, all from different Pixar movies. Here's a look at the other side with Turning Red, Soul, Luca, Coco, Inside Out. So rumor has it actually that they actually made a deal with the Great Maple to not only provide food at the restaurant that they're going to be having, but also all the other locations. So this location will be serving coffee and other drinks to go, but it will also have some to-go food items brought to you by Great Maple as well. So maybe those really good maple bacon donuts available for hotel guests to go. Certainly a better option than they had before when it was the Surfside Lounge. So they've actually reopened the hotel gift shop as well too, but don't have the new name for it just yet. So it's not right above it. It's just open with sort of a generic name, and it has a bunch of Pixar merchandise as well as Disneyland merchandise, including the new Elemental movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It's really, really good. It has a pretty similar layout to before, but it's a lot brighter and actually feels bigger, honestly. So since the hotel's still under construction, they actually set up a temporary vending location in one of the hotel's ballrooms. They had this set up before in the former arcade location, but that whole side of the hotel is heavily under construction now, so they moved it over here. Guests can get hot coffee in the morning. They've got a microwave to warm up some stuff, as well as some frozen and refrigerated items like sandwiches to go, things for breakfast of that nature like cereal, and some bottled drinks. It's all sort of a self-checkout kind of situation where you bring it over here and check out yourself. So lots of cameras to make sure people don't steal things as well. On my way out of the vending location, I actually found another hidden character, Ember from the Elemental movie. So a new character over here. Let's go around the corner now to the front desk location and see what that looks like. So the front desk location is mostly open. The artwork behind all the desks and everything is going to be temporary, but it all is wide open. They have one of the guest elevators open now. In addition to that, they have elevators that are normally cast member only that are being used right now because the main guest elevators are being worked on. But what do you think so far about Disney's Pixar Place Hotel, aka the Paradise Pier Hotel? Not quite done yet, but with what we've seen, does it look cleaner to you? Is it nicer than the old kind of dated 90s look it used to have? Let me know in the comments. So we made our way to the backside of Disney's Pixar Place Hotel. You can see the pool construction on the slide, all bringing in that Finding Nemo theme, some more underwater kind of seaweed motifs here, all coming together. And then they're also building a brand new elevator over here at the parking structure because this parking structure, for a few levels, when you get up towards the top, doesn't have access to an elevator. So it's not an accessible option. And for some guests that really can't walk very far or with a bad knee or something, it's just not an option to park at the top. So glad they're adding in that elevator over here. But let's get a closer look maybe of the pool side by that opening over there. But you can see, again, another look. Finding Nemo theme coming in over here at the pool area. Not too much of a view from this side. Still a lot of work going on at the pool. From what I saw as I was walking back over here, they actually had lifeguards set up just outside the back of the hotel so that guests that wanted to ride to one of the other hotels to use their pool that are staying here, they actually give them a golf cart ride right over to the pool of their choice, or at least whatever one they're working with at the moment. So I thought that was a pretty neat little offering while they're working on the pool area here. But they have the old sandbar location under construction too. A lot of new things coming to this deck. We saw a look from Disneyland president Ken Potrock not that long ago. So there's a lot of changes coming to this pool deck with some outdoor games themed to Pixar, as well as a new location to watch the fireworks over here. So big changes over here, and it's wrapping up really quickly. I would say we see the pool open this year, and I didn't think it was going to be that way at first, but it looks like it's going to now. Looking down up above at some of the construction behind Disney's Paradise Pier Hotel, they're actually ripping out the whole guest pathway that leads to the backside entrance of the hotel. So this was the only walkway for a time being, so now it's being currently redone as part of the next phase as they move towards the backside of the hotel and give relief to the front. But I think that really wraps up everything here at Disney's Pixar Place Hotel. So I'm going to head now over to the Disneyland Hotel so we can check out what it looks like over there at the new Discovery Tower, the villas at the Disneyland Hotel. And then we can wrap up this week's big update video over here at the Disneyland Resort. Hope you've enjoyed the journey so far. There's a lot more to it on the way over there, so let's continue on. Here's a current look over here at the Discovery Tower at the Disneyland Hotel. You can see the colored panels that go on either side of these villas here are all basically uncovered and installed. They're actually working on removing some of the scrim right now as we speak. Basically fully ready to go at this point on the exterior. Looks like they're just doing some of the interior work now. You can see some of the vanities and stuff that they've showcased off of the lobby already lit up in some of the rooms. So a lot of work finishing up over here at the Discovery Tower at the Disneyland Hotel. And here we are just outside Tangaroa Terrace. You can see really just how this changes the landscape over here at the Disneyland Hotel. It's quite the change visually when you see just how close it is to the Frontier Tower. But it looks really good in person. I can't emphasize that enough. Any, hesitations you might have with it, seeing it online, definitely wait till you see it in person because it looks really good and actually fits the theme extremely well of the whole entire Disneyland Hotel. I don't think there's too many new updates left. I was going to come on this side to see if we could see anything. We can see a little bit here into the pool area that they're working on because Again, this whole entire essentially bottom level of the hotel is completely open to this pool area. So it's going to connect this pool area to the one on the back side of the tower. So not too much work that I can see on this side. Looked like they were doing a lot of the work removing some of the scaffolding and screen that was covering the hotel. But let's continue walking through the lobby and all the other exterior spaces and see if there's anything else new as Disneyland Hotel prepares for some of its busier convention seasons coming up here in the fall. Another big change I've talked about before, over here outside the coffee house, they actually added some additional seating as well as some fireplaces for guests to sit. This is always like a really tight space for when they have convention guests here that are getting coffee and things like that. Not a lot of space to sit. So now they've got a whole new seating area just outside the coffee shop and around the corner. Not only that, you can bring your food from Tangaroa Terrace across the way if there's not any dining left over there, because sometimes that does fill up too. So let's head into the lobby next and see if there's anything new. So we, of course, saw this display for the new villas at the Disneyland Hotel, the Discovery Tower, but it looks like they flushed it out a little bit more with some more decor, new banners. So you can come over here and check out the new villas, speak to a DVC sales representative, maybe find out some more about availability and how to book. One more update over here behind the Adventure Tower. There's like a little small green space at the back over here, and they've actually moved all the old seating that used to be next to the coffee house back here. Kind of creates a little picnic atmosphere right next to the wedding garden where they hold fairy tale weddings. And it looks like they might be preparing for one later today, so I'm gonna find my way out of here. But let's continue on walking through the resort. I actually wanted to stop by the Anaheim Convention Center today because this weekend they're actually hosting VidCon for the last part of the video. VidCon is a YouTube convention, so a lot of big time YouTubers are the guests and different panels for these conventions here. And they've got live entertainment, costume shows, all sorts of things here at VidCon, basically covering every part, every niche of YouTube. So it seems like a pretty fun event. I've never been. Maybe I'll do it next year, but I wanted to walk by and see if I can get through, but all exterior parts are closed off completely. Unlike D23, you can't even get near it. So a little bit more different. We're gonna walk around the other side though, because I'm headed to Toy Story lot where my car is parked. So maybe we can see more on that side. The outdoor portion definitely looks like more of a party than D23 ever was. That's for sure. Made my way over to the other side. So I won't be able to get through because they're really locked down on this one. So I'm actually just gonna be able to go right over here and show you the front of the facade. So I came to the front side of the convention center before I headed to Toy Story. You can see it's all set up for the YouTube convention. They're featuring not only YouTube music, YouTube shorts, and regular YouTube, digital culture and its creators in real life. So it's essentially all everyone's favorite YouTubers, the big ones anyways, in real life. Having panels and meet and greets and all sorts of stuff like that. There's the big logo right in front of the hotel. Pretty cool setup. Way, way better, I think, outside than D23 Expo. But yeah, hopefully next year I'll get to attend this. I wanted to go this year, but just totally lost track of time on when it was coming. So I'll try to do this next year and see what it's all about. But that wraps up this jam-packed update video for the Disneyland Resort and beyond at this point. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the like button on this video, leave a comment below, and make sure you're subscribed for future content. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, The 5571, on any podcast platform. You can subscribe or hit the follow button, depending on which platform you're listening or viewing from. And I'm hoping to, in the next month or so, bring some video to the podcast and put it on YouTube. So for those that want to watch it on YouTube and have it in the background, that could be a possibility too. Looking at trying to do that. I know that some people were asking about that as well. But thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for hanging in there. My little break definitely was much needed, and enjoyed the time away to do other things. We're still doing the podcast, but needed that little break. I'm back and refreshed to get going every week here with these theme park updates. So make sure you're subscribed. But thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.